Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chonsom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 21st of June. Yoga, a ray of hope amid COVID-19, says Indian Prime Minister Modi on International Yoga Day. Exiled dissidents demand FATF to blacklist Pakistan for sponsoring terrorism. And Afghan Taliban leader Baradar calls for implementation of Doha Agreement. And now for all the details. 3 Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists, including top commander Mudassir Pandit, were neutralized in an encounter by security forces on Monday in Sopore town of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir. Mudassir was involved in the killings of policemen and civilians in recent terror attacks in Kashmir Valley, police said.
At least 3 terrorists affiliated to Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terror organization were killed and a soldier injured in an overnight gun battle in Sopore town of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir territory on Monday, said police. Top Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist Mudassir Pandit, who was involved in the killings of policemen and civilians in recent terror attacks in Kashmir, was among the 3 killed, police added. During a joint search operation by the Army, Police and the Central Reserve Police Force, the terrorists fired upon the security officials, after which a gunfight ensued, leading to the death of the 3 terrorists.
तो कल शाम में जब इन्फॉर्मेशन मिला था एसपी सोपुर को, तो पुलिस आर्मी सीआरपी मिलकर कॉर्डन डाला। कॉर्डन डालते ही सर्च शुरू हुआ, तो मिलिट्री ने अंदर से अंधाधुंध फायरिंग किया, जिस फायरिंग में आर्मी के एक जवान को गोली लग गया था पाँव में। उसके बाद इनकाउंटर जारी रहा, जिसमें 3 टेररिस्ट मारे गए हैं। तीनों लश्कर तैयबा से ताल्लुक रखते हैं।
Kashmir is a Muslim majority region at the heart of decades of hostility between India and Pakistan. Though India accuses Pakistan of supporting militancy in the area, Pakistan has time and again denied the charge.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the nation in celebrating the 7th International Yoga Day, whose theme this year is Yoga for Wellness. Addressing the nation, Prime Minister Modi said yoga remains a ray of hope as the world fights the coronavirus pandemic. He wished for health of every country, society and individual and hoped that we will be united and will strengthen each other. The 7th edition of the International Yoga Day kicked off on Monday with people across India along with the world taking part in yoga events to mark the day. India identified 75 cultural heritage locations across the country under the extensive drive Yoga and Indian Heritage. Owing to the grim COVID-19 situation in the country, the number of participants at these sites was limited to 20. Yoga enthusiasts in Mumbai took up to the ancient Indian practice near the Kanheri caves, while Goa State organized the program in the backdrop of the 17th century Portuguese fort, Aguada Fort, overlooking the Arabian Sea. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who led the nation in celebrating the occasion of the 7th International Yoga Day, said yoga remains a ray of hope as the world fights the coronavirus pandemic and wished for health of every country, society and individual. He also launched a M-Yoga app that will be available worldwide.
कोरोना के बावजूद इस बार की योग दिवस की थीम योगा फॉर वेलनेस ने करोड़ों लोगों में योग के प्रति उत्साह को और भी बढ़ाया है। मैं आज योग दिवस पर ये कामना करता हूं कि हर देश, हर समाज और हर व्यक्ति स्वस्थ हो।
Meanwhile, India's paramilitary forces took yoga to the extreme ends of the country, from snowy mountains at an altitude above 18,000 feet amid snowfall, picturesque Himalayan valley, Pangong Tso Lake near India-China border, to scorching deserts of Rajasthan near India-Pakistan border with camel. In news from Pakistan, Pakistan Jamiat Ulema Islam Fazl Party Chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman, while speaking to reporters on Sunday, said that the army and intelligence agencies should stay away from the election process. Rahman, who also heads the Pakistan Democratic Movement, said the multi-party opposition alliance will hold massive anti-government rallies in July to oust Prime Minister Imran Khan-led government.
Pakistan's Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam Fazl Party chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman on Sunday said that army and intelligence agencies should stay away from the election process as police are enough to provide security during the polls. Addressing reporters in Peshawar, Rahman said he was of the opinion that PM Imran Khan-led government was trying to make the electoral process more ambiguous and controversial with its move to provide voting rights to overseas Pakistanis in the next general elections. He also raised concern over resurgence of the new terrorist groups in the tribal regions bordering Afghanistan.
बुनियादी नुक्ता यही हो कि इंतखाबी मराहल के अंदर किसी मरहले पर भी जासूसी इदारों की मुदाखलत नहीं होनी चाहिए। फौज को इलेक्शन से दूर रखा जाए। अगर कहीं पर अमन व अमान की सूरत हाल है तो उसके लिए पुलिस काफ़ी है। आम निहत्थे लोग उनके मुकाबले में फ़ौज को भेजना ये तो फ़ौज के इदारे की भी तौहीन है।
Rahman, who also heads the Pakistan Democratic Movement, said that the multi-party opposition alliance would use democracy as a weapon to unseat PM Imran Khan-led government as he announced that a grand anti-government rally in Swat on July 4, followed by another in Karachi on July 29.
Moving on, exiled dissidents held a protest outside the headquarters of the Financial Action Task Force in Paris this past weekend to urge the terror financing watchdog to move Pakistan from its grey list to blacklist. The protesters blamed Pakistan is actively engaged in terror financing and called upon the FATF member nations not to be pressurized by its ally China into letting it off the hook.
Exiled dissidents belonging to Baloch, Pashtun, Uyghur, Tibetan and Hong Kong communities protested outside the headquarters of the Financial Action Task Force or FATF in Paris this past weekend, urging the terror financing watchdog to move Pakistan from its grey list to blacklist during its meeting from June 21 to 25. The protesters blamed Pakistan is actively engaged in terror financing and called upon the FATF member nations not to be pressurized by China, a close strategic partner of Pakistan, into letting it off the hook. They also raised concern over China-Pakistan Economic Corridor in Balochistan, which has witnessed grave human rights violations and led to displacement of Baloch people.
In Pakistan, terror financing continues. We know that the terror networks in Balochistan continue to operate. The money laundering operations continue. We know that Pakistan is using its different routes by sending money to Africa, and through that it's using these routes to fund terror activities back in South Asia, back in Afghanistan and Kashmir.
Pakistan has remained on FATF's grey list since 2018 for failing to fully implement a 27-point action plan that the watchdog had drawn up for the country. The protesters accused that Pakistan adopts the tactic of showcasing strict action against terror financing. However, terror organizations like the Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Afghan Taliban are still continuing to function freely in the country and have been collecting funds.
In news from Afghanistan, Taliban's deputy leader Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar has called on the US to honor the Doha Agreement while stressing that release of remaining prisoners and removal of Taliban leaders from UN blacklist is important for progress in peace negotiations. His statement came amid ramped-up fighting across Afghanistan and reports that at least 30 districts have been seized by the insurgent group.
Taliban's deputy leader Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar has called for the implementation of the Doha Agreement, stating it is crucial in achieving progress in the peace negotiations. His statement comes amid ramped-up fighting across the country and the fall of dozens of districts to the Taliban. The Doha Agreement was signed between the US and the Taliban on February 29, 2020, which called for the withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan within 14 months. The withdrawal was planned for May but has been postponed till September this year. Baradar also stressed that the release of remaining prisoners and the removal of Taliban leaders from the UN blacklist is important for progress in the peace negotiations. Meanwhile, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and Abdullah Abdullah, the chairman of Afghanistan's High Council for National Reconciliation, will meet US President Joe Biden on Friday, June 25, in Washington to discuss US troop withdrawal amid a surge in fighting between Afghan forces and the Taliban across the country. Ever since Biden's decision to end the America's longest war after nearly 20 years of conflict, at least 30 districts have been seized by the Taliban.
The coronavirus lockdown and the coup in Myanmar, which Rohingya refugees consider their home, has added to their miseries and they had very little to look forward to, Rohingya refugees in camps in Bangladesh expressed. The refugee camps are under lockdown to mitigate the spread of coronavirus as Bangladesh is also experiencing an alarming rise in fresh COVID-19 related deaths and new cases. Rohingya refugees in camps in Bangladesh said the coronavirus lockdown and the coup in Myanmar, which they consider their home, has added to their miseries and they had very little to look forward to. Nearly 1 million of them are now living in often squalid tent cities in the district of Cox's Bazar, near the Bangladesh-Myanmar border, after fleeing a military crackdown in Myanmar's Rakhine state nearly 4 years ago.
Burma maze war refugee de hodiba nosintam kyala ara nije refugee no boni datalla to hon jata Bangladesh ashi ara refugee boni hisabe ara life on lazargo dian ara ekkan hosto hare bujaitam hare zahar kortam ara zindagi de pura giyo ara fuji endo zindagi ara zindagi madari giyo dian ara nosar ara fuji endo zindagi la boli ara bishi cinta kori at dua maya fuase era aerogam mortoi আর মায়া পাওয়া এই দিয়া 4 বছর স্কুলত দিনা ভারি বিশ্বাস জোয়াছিল তো এরিয়া স্কুলত দিনা ভারি হলে আর ফাইন্দ জিন্দেগি কেনব আর দুন মানুষ আছে দে রোহিঙ্গার ইনর ফাইন্দ জিন্দেগি কেনব
The refugee camps are under lockdown to mitigate the spread of coronavirus, and many Rohingyas said they felt the pandemic was diminishing international concern over their situation as countries struggle to contain the virus and its impact at home. The political situation in Myanmar was also not helping, and now the Burmese were as unhappy as the Rohingyas due to military takeover in February, they said. Bangladesh is keen to see the Rohingya go back to Myanmar, but there has been little sign of progress in talks with Myanmar's military junta. Scores of devotees flocked the banks of Ganges River in India's northern Uttar Pradesh on Monday to take a holy dip and offer prayers on Nirjala Ekadashi, an auspicious lunar day amid the coronavirus pandemic. People observe a fast for 24 hours by depriving themselves of water on the occasion, as they believe it would help them attain salvation.
Hindu devotees flocked the banks of the holy Ganges River in Varanasi in India's northern Uttar Pradesh state on Monday to take holy dip on the auspicious occasion of Nirjala Ekadashi, or fasting without water, on the 11th lunar day of the Hindu month of Jyeshtha amid the coronavirus pandemic. According to Hindu mythology, bathing in the river Ganges on Nirjala Ekadashi, considered a holy day for the Hindus, washes away all sins and leads to salvation. People observe a fast for 24 hours by depriving themselves of water on the occasion, as they believe it would help them attain salvation.
आज ये महापर्व निर्जला एकादशी है और इस पर्व पर नर नारी सारे लोग गंगा स्नान करने आते थे। पहले कोरोना काल के पहले यहाँ पर काफ़ी भीड़ हुआ करती थी। आज के तारीख कोरोना की वजह से भीड़ तो काफ़ी कम है, लेकिन फिर भी लोग आ रहे हैं पर्व को मनाने।
Similar scenes were witnessed in Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, where social distancing and mask rules went for a toss as people bathed in the waters of the Sangam, the confluence of holy rivers Ganges, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati, and offered prayers. Over the last 24 hours, India reported 53,256 infections, the lowest since March 24.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now, viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.